Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Ham and Spam Retro Review. It's our gaming / nostalgia 90s, 80s, and 2000s podcast. We talk about a little bit of everything, not just video games. To my immediate left is one Hammy. And I am your co-host, Clint / Spam. I love that our name is Ham and Spam and no one literally calls me Spam.
Yeah, no one has ever called you Spam.
If you want to know the origin story, go back and listen to, is it episode 8? I think it's episode 8. I might be
was it
wrong
SmackDown versus, or Smack, what was it?
SmackDown 2, Know Your Role.
Okay.
May not be, I think 8's Mystical Ninja, so it might be after that. Anyway, we probably should have done that research before we got into this. But anyway, welcome. Any new listeners, and thank you for joining us. If you are a continued listener, we appreciate you. Today, Hammy and I are going to get into a... Do you need to pause?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
The mic was spinning around.
It's a little wobbly. Today, we're going to get into a game that we've talked about at random on the show.
Yeah, well, you know, it's funny. It was a few episodes ago we talked about how we didn't give enough love to the N64.
Right.
And in all fairness, I have been a little hard on the N64.
Same.
Which is funny because 16-year-old me would
Hate
definitely
you right now.
try to punch me in the face if he wasn't so horrified by what happened to him in 2 decades. But no, it was a good system. It's just, it's hard not to look at its flaws that it definitely had.
Well,
some strange decisions they made.
And that's exactly what we're going to do. We've been kind of teasing Super Mario 64. You've got me saying it as well.
Yes.
You know, we kind of teased it with the 3D All-Star announcement.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about it in our last podcast where we're talking about how innovative Super Mario Brothers 3 was. So we figured it was due time for us to give the old college try, and we'll do it some justice maybe and give it a review.
I'm so glad that the 3D All-Stars came out to play it on, because I don't know about you, but I think 99% of the N64 controllers I see now, the control stick is just wore out.
Yeah. Yeah,
like
mine
they just
too.
sit there and wobble.
Yeah, mine too. If you pick it up and shake it, it'll just move on its own.
Like I had to buy a replacement. It does pretty well.
Yeah, I know you. You said that did you get a kit to fix yours?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's what I thought you had said. Not super hard, but just maybe a little time consuming.
Yeah, a little inconvenient. It's all right.
But anywho, on to Super Mario 64. Hammy and I both put some time into this. Played it on the Switch on the 3D All-Stars.
Did you beat it?
I did not beat it. I got my minimum 70. I made it all the way to Bowser, and I got to 2 hits. I can get 2 hits pretty quickly. It's that third hit.
Yeah, you got launching
because you've got to launch him exactly, and it's the star shape. After he comes down and all the I guess the map falls, I guess is the best way to describe it.
You know what's funny? I have no problem launching him on the first 2. It's that third one. It's that whole mental thing, I guess.
Yeah. And I mean, if that's what it's supposed to do, that's what it's supposed to do. But yeah, I struggled with it, wasn't able to get to it, and I finally said, "Hey, I got to go to bed," because bed's still a thing at 36. So
yeah.
my playthrough, I really enjoyed the game. It was very nostalgic. I really enjoyed going back through some of the levels. I've forgotten how to get a bunch of the stars. You and I had talked. I had forgotten about the green switch cap. Like I had a general idea, but I had forgotten exactly how to get there.
Yeah, that was one thing that's etched in my memory is where it was.
But like, just going through some of the levels, obviously you can't get any more iconic than the bomb battlefield. Is that what it's called? Bomb?
Yeah.
Bomb?
Yeah. Before we get to levels though, I want to talk about the fact that, this game was a launch title.
Yes.
For N64, but it did not come with the N64.
No, it did not.
So little Hammy, who had saved up all his money doing chores.
Like a good boy.
And yeah, saved up because the only system I never bought for myself was my Super Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
Every other one I actually bought. Saved up, got the N64, made 2 discoveries to my horror. Number 1.
Taxes.
No, I counted for that. Number 1, it didn't come with a coaxial hookup because the TV I had only had coaxial.
Oh yeah,
It was component. I didn't have that.
Well, see, when they redid the Super Nintendo, and I might be wrong, it may still be the same there. It had a different hookup as well. I think when they changed it to the 64 hookup because it had that little notch in it that wasn't the same as the Super Nintendo. As I'm pointing, you guys can't see me pointing, but I'm pointing for Hammy.
Well, the Super Nintendo came with the coaxial hookup.
Right. No, not the coaxial. It came with the RCA hookups.
Well, I had the hookup somehow when I got my Super Nintendo. N64 I didn't. And also the N64 did not come with a game. So here I was with a system.
With a $200 state-of-the-art system and not a game for it.
And no way to play it. So I actually went down to my brother's house.
Blockbuster.
Oh, yeah. Well, he had a TV with the RCA.
Yeah.
And he also rented Mario 64 for me.
So this was the first game you
from
played
Blockbuster.
For it?
Yeah, it was.
Okay, this was also my first game as well. I did not own the system until later in life.
I didn't own the game until later in life.
Well, same, I guess technically. I've got an aunt that lives, relatively close. She actually bought me my original PlayStation. So when everybody was getting a Nintendo 64, and that's what I wanted, she ended up getting me the PlayStation because that's what was available. Because remember the rush on the Nintendo 64?
Oh yeah.
64 bits versus 32. I mean, it had its own console war in a way. I think in that first generation, who won that console war? That first generation of PlayStation versus Nintendo.
I don't know.
I venture to think that Nintendo won the battle, but I think for right now, Sony's winning the war.
Well, I don't know. As far as games,
yeah.
No, Nintendo is dominating everyone right now.
Not in overall. I'm just going by the numbers and overall sales.
Yeah, Nintendo is dominating everyone. They go back last 30 years.
No,
for the last generation.
Yeah.
Oh, Switch is outpacing PS4 big time.
It's outpacing, but it's not overtaken.
Well, it hadn't been out as long.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying.
PS4 has 4 years on them.
Okay.
At the same mark when PS4 was out, 3 years, 4 years? Yeah, Switch has outsold it. I mean, it's like nearly 80 million.
Well, I mean, it's all in how you want to look at the analytics right now. But I'm just saying that in that first one, I think Sony was new. N64 was new, but the name Nintendo had been around. You kind of knew what you were getting, first party game software you're going to get with them, and the kind of weight that it carried. And then of course, it's easier to sell something when you say 64 is better than 32. So people want the best thing. So I would venture to say now there's some classic PlayStation titles, but when you just go with intellectual properties, and I think that's kind of where Nintendo's got a lot of the competition beat. There's just not a lot of IPs for the other systems.
No,
like
not
that.
with the sales,
right? So I kind of want to give it to Nintendo 64. Again, there's some great iconic games for PlayStation, but
PS4's top selling Sony IP is Uncharted 4 with I think 14 million units. And the numbers just came out this week. Switch, which has only been out for just under 4 years, has 7 titles over 20 million.
And that's crazy. And you and I had talked about the numbers, about the percentages of what those games per Switch was like.
Oh yeah, the attachment rate.
Right, the attachment rate. And it's crazy to think about that. Would you say only 17% of PlayStation owner just looking at
like less than that, like maybe 10 or 11% have Uncharted 4.
Right, their best selling game, but the best selling game on the Switch is
Mario Kart 8
over 25%.
Oh yeah, 33 million.
So, but yeah, I mean, we could sit here and look at the numbers all day or talk about the numbers all day because I'm kind of a numbers guy. I like that kind of stuff. But
yeah, Mario is the first N64 game. I didn't own it. I rented it and I borrowed it from Ron Coleman quite a bit because he had an N64. When I borrowed it, I played it through it, beat it, got all 120 stars, but I didn't actually own it until I was an adult.
Till you had a job.
Yeah.
Well, I played it again, kind of touching back on that story. I guess that's where I was going with it. I had the PlayStation, didn't have the 64. A neighbor of mine at the time, Charles Jarrett, he had the 64, and I remember just going up there and watching him play because it's a one-player game, so only one person at a time. We'll kind of get into that maybe a little bit too. But watching him play, and then when he kind of got tired of it, I'd start my own file and go through it. And at the time, I wasn't near as good as he was, but I remember watching him beat it, 120 stars, Yoshi, all that stuff. Thought it was really neat. I can't really 100% remember why I bought one other than, hey, I think it was a retro game night, the precursor to the podcast.
May have been.
Why I ended up getting it. So,
it's a great one to have.
Yeah. And this was 96. Yeah. So you're looking at a system that's 25 years old now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good grief.
Again, numbers.
It's old enough to run for Congress in the United States. Well,
Zelda's old enough to run for president now. So there's that. There's your civics lesson for the day, boys and girls. So getting into it, you played it on the Switch. Obviously, knowing you played it on the TV with Pro Controller.
Yeah.
Knowing me, I played it on handheld. Not as God intended, I will say.
You're a masochist.
A little bit. The controls work. I feel like there's some things they probably could have improved on, but they just wanted to keep the game as it was and port it over, which is fine.
One thing I wish they'd done.
What's that?
A does jump and interacts.
Yes.
I wish they'd made those separate.
Yes, because I found myself needing to talk to Toad.
Yeah.
And two things. One, I couldn't get lined up on him, and that's something I think we're going to talk about. But the other thing too was every time I got around him, I just kept jumping over him. So I had to turn back around.
Oh yeah, a lot of pink bombs I tried to talk to. I was just jumping in front of them. Or signs, you try to read the signs.
Yeah, right. It's like, why is this idiot jumping in front of me? Like I wish just that they would have put a different camera angle to see it from the bomb point of view. Just see how dumb we look trying to do all that.
They need to do something with the camera angle.
Well, that was my biggest complaint on the original when we played it back in the day on the 64. I had listened to Finish the Fight. They are doing some game podcasts now outside of Halo, and one of them that they did was Mario 64. They had said that they had only used 40% of the game system to make the game because they didn't know how powerful it was at the time. They had taken a bunch of stuff out. Supposedly it's supposed to have a Luigi. We found out years later that
just not too long ago, found out that he was in the game
because they broke the game and went through the code of the game and found out. Apparently, you were supposed to be able to ride Yoshi, but because of the 3D elements, they didn't know exactly how they were going to make it work.
And that's so crazy, man. They were pioneering something.
Right.
I mean, they said, for all the faults of this game, which I didn't see when I was young, and I go back now and
Mario colored glasses.
And honestly, sometimes it's hard to be a retro reviewer because you've got to.
You got to put the nostalgia aside.
Yeah, you got to do that, and you also can't hold a lot of these games to the same standards as today's games because the technology wasn't there. But or
the know-how.
They were doing something never been done before, and they set a very high bar.
They did, because you and I talked about this. This set the bar for pretty much all third-person games for the Nintendo 64. Pretty much all third-person games going forward as well.
Well, yeah, the 3D platformers.
Right.
Like Banjo-Kazooie, you can see a lot of influence.
Oh, absolutely. Even Zelda. Star Fox. Well, Star Fox kind of, sort of. Star Fox kind of has its own thing, but
all it was a 3D version of the original Star Fox.
Right. But even like we touched on Ocarina of Time, it is a clone in the sense of the way the camera kind of moves, the way that...
No, you can put the camera behind Link.
Well, but you can put it side in front of him too.
Maybe.
Well, anyway, staying on the camera, in the old school, you had this weird group of yellow buttons that were not really distinguishable from anything else other than up, down, left, and right. And that's what kind of controlled the camera. Essentially, that's your other joystick. It took me a little bit of time to kind of realize that's actually your joystick. It's a D-pad. Well, it's a button pad.
Pretty much. Great for baseball games.
Why is that?
Because it's like the bases.
Okay. Well, I mean, the Super Nintendo controller was like that. The Xbox controller was like that. The PlayStation controller was like that.
Yeah, I wonder why they went with the C buttons and just ditched X and Y.
I don't know.
They wouldn't bring them back till GameCube.
Well, they got rid of X and Y and added a Z. It's like, well, where's X and Y? Why is there a Z? You know how long it was before I realized there was a Z button there?
Oh, the first time I played the game, I didn't know it was there. I played it at Sears on display. Had to wait an hour and a half behind some little punk kid.
Snot-nosed kid.
And I finally get it. And I'm like, how did he do all those flips and stuff? How did he ground pound? What's wrong with me? Why can't I figure this out? I never knew the Z button was there.
Well, think about all the new stuff that they put in, the new moves for Mario that they put in that they ended up using out of that game for other games. The ground pound, that wasn't in World.
Mm.
They had the ability to fly. Ooh, I just touched on a nerve there.
Oh boy.
You had the ability to fly, but you couldn't do the ground pound. Now you were able to do it, essentially doing the same button combination in some of the games after Mario 64. But they set that precedent. They set the way you pick things up. They kind of set that precedent.
What do you mean?
Like the boxes and stuff. Like it just looks different than just Mario picking up a turtle shell in 2D and just running with it.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of stuff that you have to pick up. Like
the bombs, you pick them up and throw them.
Like the baby penguin.
Yeah.
Question: Did you throw it off the side of the mountain?
Not on this playthrough.
Okay, I did just because I'm that person. Because we've all done it. Don't judge.
The only time I picked him up on this playthrough was to take him back to his mother. Because I was just trying to get through it.
Yeah. Well,
and I'll be honest, I didn't have near as much fun on this playthrough as I did back in the 90s.
Well, again, it was new. It was innovative at the time. Now you've played better. There's that filet mignon that you were talking about.
Yeah.
You've played things that are better with the camera angles and the platforming in 3D now.
Well, it's like you grew up driving a manual transmission vehicle, and then for 20 you went to automatic.
Right.
You drove automatic for 20 years, and then 25 years and going back to manual.
Right. But at the same time, it's like riding a bicycle. I mean, people make that comparison all the time.
Oh yeah.
You go back to it, like you kind of understand. And even when you pick up a new game, like one of the first things I do is figure out exactly how I ground pound. Because I know that's going to be the primary thing I'm going to use.
I didn't use it that much.
Really?
Yeah.
I used it all the time. I never really hit And because of my lack of depth perception, because apparently I'm a pirate all of a sudden, I didn't really jump on a whole lot of stuff.
I just slide to attack them. Jump up and hit, I guess, Y on the switch.
Where it kicks them?
No, where he like slides at them fist first.
I guess I
like
missed
a dive. Yeah, it's like a dive. That's how I fought most enemies.
Oh, okay. Well, I usually would either do the jump kick or the ground pound. Like if it had horns like the bulls in Lethal Lava World, I wouldn't ground pound them. I had to jump kick. And I struggled. I struggled with the little ones in that one because of that. Because of the way I was attacking them, I didn't think about diving at them like that.
Yeah. Well,
because again, my depth perception, I would have fell off the map.
Well, for stuff like that, I would do the jump kick too. But I guess just the way like you said, it's like getting back on a bike. Like the more I played it, the more my old instincts started coming back. Because I used to be great at this game,
right? And
like I was just moving like the way I did when I was a kid. Because I stay moving. I don't.
No. I can't hardly stay still either. But I did find myself old manning some of the levels when it got to, the real thin ledges and stuff.
Yeah,
I'd crawl.
That's where the Mario camera is very handy.
Right. I would crawl or try to tiptoe, but a lot of times I would end up kind of walking off just a little bit and I'd end up falling.
And it's funny. I told you I forgot about switching from the stationary camera to the Mario camera until after I beat it. Like I completely forgot about it.
I didn't forget about it because every time I was trying to, for whatever reason, every time when I was trying to swing Bowser last night, I'd get around to swinging him and I'd push the button. I guess I'm 4 and I'm throwing the controller. And I'd press it, and it changed my angle, and I'd miss where I threw Bowser every time. So I was struggling with that because of that.
Yeah, I beat the game, got 70 stars entirely with the Resident Evil 1 camera.
We actually talked today, and I was hoping that you would say this line right there, but I'm going to say it for you. You said that the camera angles in Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3, the originals, were better. Better camera angles than what you played.
My nephew Justin came up and watched me play a little bit, and he came up at the best / worst time because I was in a Wet Dry World in the downtown area, and the camera angles will constantly put something between you and Mario. He's like, "How did you play this game? Like you had to make blind jumps, and all this and that." And it's like I don't know.
What was his perspective? What was his take on the game? Because this wouldn't have been a childhood game for him. I mean, you got to think there's a generation of kids that are playing this game for the first time. Those poor, pathetic souls.
He was kind of horrified by it.
Really?
Yeah, because he saw the worst of the camera angles, and if I'd remembered the Mario cam, it would have made it a lot easier.
Well, like I said, when you start trying to platform, and it's interesting that they went to this 3D setup because I don't know if I touched on it in our Mario 3 review, but the original plan was to do an isometric top-down Mario in that game. That was the original plan.
That would have been horrible.
But the reason they didn't is because of the depth perception, because they felt people would miss the jumps. There's no shadows to go by or anything like that. So they felt it would make the game too difficult. So they just stuck with the 2D area. Well, fast forward, what was Mario 91? So you fast forward 5 years and they've done 3D. And I know I talk a lot about Sonic on this podcast, but Sonic had a 3D game and it was an isometric and it was awful.
Oh yeah.
It was awful. 3D Blast. Oh my goodness. The story was awful. The mechanics of it was awful. Everything was awful, but that camera was the worst thing because it top down, not up, not down, not left, not right, but kind of in that bottom diagonal corner.
View, Super Mario RPGs like that, but it's an RPG, so it's not really platforming.
Right, exactly. So and that's where the difference is if you have to do any kind of platforming or a whole,
Oh, that would be terrible.
Yeah, it's bad. Which brings me to our next game is going to be Sonic 3D Blast. I'm just playing. But yeah, just that gave me the camera angles gave me fits, and like I said, I don't know what it was about the depth perception because whenever I did try to play with the Mario camera, it would. I guess it's purely depth perception. Just like I didn't know exactly how far out I needed to jump. Because, you know, when you, just like with any other Mario game, you only jump as far as you're pushing forward on. Like if you just jump, you just jump. And if
a lot
you
of
barely
long
push
jumping.
yeah, a lot of long jumping. And you had actually made the comment of if you're not moving all the time, you can't move. And that sounds dumb, but
yeah, well, it gets to his movement, man. And sometimes Mario, like, he's got all these moves, he's got all these amazing stuff he can do,
but it takes him a minute to get going.
It does. I hate that so much.
That pitter patter, go.
Yeah. And like one time I was running towards an extra life and I smacked a wall and it just hits and he bounced right off the map.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I told you I had trouble getting those stupid extra lives because it would pop out and it would go at a different angle than what Mario was facing.
Right. It's like it's going the opposite way that you want it to. Like if you're pushing up, it's going down.
Yeah.
Or if you go left, it's going right.
And if I go hit the stick to go that way, like he doesn't just immediately pivot and go that way.
No.
He like runs a circle around. And I would run circles around that thing till it disappeared.
But if you think about it though, that's kind of how you would do in real life. I mean, at least like you said, you would pivot more than what that was doing. But like if you just needed to look, you know, facing one way and then you needed to do a quick 180, there was no good way of doing it.
You know,
the best way of doing it was the backflip. Like you run forward and you backflip, go the other way because then you don't lose any momentum.
Yeah, but
and you pretty much go exactly 180 degrees.
But see, that movement isn't a problem whilst you're moving. It's from that dead stop where it's a problem. And sometimes Mario felt like he was on ice a little bit.
Oh, most definitely, especially in the ice world.
that just cranked it up to 11. But sometimes it's hard. Like I'm trying to jump on the post, like the chain chomp star. Mm-hmm. I would either jump 3 feet over it,
or
right
not in front of it.
Yeah, and it took forever. And I know little teenage me is probably mad because I used to like do the side somersault over it and land
right on it. Exactly. Yeah. Well, and that's what I was saying about the shadows. At least this did have the shadows. So if you the camera angle was right. Now, sometimes it'd get too close. Sometimes you'd be in an area where the camera wouldn't go. And I'm using quotation marks there. You know, it would give you.
It's like fighting you, man.
Yeah.
No, go this way.
Right.
Go this way. It's
well,
like, no.
And
no.
here's the thing, too. Here's the thing that really ticked me off about the camera. Okay. If you've got this little turtle looking thing in a cloud.
Lakitu.
Well, I know what he's called, but what is he? Don't say Lakitu. He's a Lakitu.
He's a Koopa, I think.
Okay, well,
kind of, sort of.
You got this turtle-looking thing that in all the other games throws spike people at you, and I guess his brother/cousin does in some of these levels.
Oh yeah, Big Small World, or
right?
Whatever.
But anyway, he's literally in a cloud, and you can go all the way around him to a point, and then it stops. It won't go all the way back around. That I didn't get that. That just made no sense to me. Again, going forward where you can literally go, you take Batman, you can go all the way around Batman. You just sit there and just do 360s.
Well, Mario Odyssey, you can go.
Right. Odyssey, you can. I think you can in Sunshine, and I know you can in Galaxy. So they corrected that, and it's more smooth where it's not on it's not necessarily a fixed camera. Like it's not fixed to a position. Where in this one, you know, you push the button over, you hear that little whatever, and it goes from one lock position to the next lock position.
Yeah, Justin was laughing because I was trying to move the camera and it kept fighting me.
Yeah, and it goes back. It's like there's a wall here. We're not doing that.
It's like this game just wants you to fail.
Yeah,
yeah.
But see, like you would get to a point in like where you're riding one of the platforms that are moving and, you know, switching around. You know, I made mention to you about the platforms that's in the volcano. You know, they would start off going straight and it kind of go up, then it move toward the camera and then away from the camera, and it kind of do a spiral around. And the whole time, like it's messing with you because if you push one way that you were pushing beforehand, you're gonna go the complete opposite way because it's changed on you. So, and that's where the Mario camera was not helping me because it tried to stay behind Mario. And I'm assuming that's what the actual Mario camera is for, right? To stay, you know, on that 0 degree right behind him. And it would kind of stay there. But then whenever it got motioning toward the camera's like freaking out trying to get behind Mario again. And then again, you know, it got to the depth perception where you're having to do that little bit of platform and jumping over these little obstacles, but stay on the moving platform.
Yeah, the best way is to kind of manage the camera, swapping between the two.
Right, and that's the best way that I found, but I There's a lot of times I didn't do very well with that. I felt like I had to have the camera maxed out distance wise to be able to do anything.
Yeah, I agree.
I've seen a lot of people play with that camera as close as you can get before you go to the quote unquote first person view.
Oh man.
No. And there's no way. You can't see anything coming. You don't know if there's a hole below you just because it's that close and it's blocking that much.
I think a lot of it's too because typical platformers, when you run them enough, you just know. Like there were some spots that the instinct came back to me. I just knew where to jump.
Right.
And it's just practice.
Riding a bicycle.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
repetition.
We don't want to go super in depth. Obviously, people can go and play this game at any point. But anything else you want to add to the game before we kind of start breaking down, maybe some of our favorite levels and stuff?
Well, like I said, it's one of my favorite games growing up, and going back, man, I got so irritated at it. You
called me last night in a rage, and that's all I'm going to use to describe that. You were in a rage because the first thing, and it's going to be Hammy Gold, and my favorite Hammy's coming out whenever I answer the phone and he goes, "Am I on speakerphone?" Yeah. That's the first thing. It wasn't, "Hey, what's up? What are you doing?"
Bleep, bleep, bleep,
yep,
bleep. This game.
It's
bleep, 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 Nintendo. Bleep, 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 bleep.
Mario.
Correct myself, but no, it's. I think a lot of it was one, I forgot about the Mario cam.
Right.
So, and managing the camera is part of the game. Two, it's kind of a crunch because we're trying to get it out.
A little bit. We were trying to get through at least all the levels and maybe at least say we beat the game. And I got really, really close. And you said you beat it. So,
yeah, I called you at 54 stars. I kind of settled down. I went back to the first level and just took my time, went through, got all the stars, moved up.
Right.
So I got to shifting sands, and there was a star I had to get, and it required flying, and I was like, nope. Which, by the way, let's go ahead and cover those caps.
Yeah. The most iconic, obviously, is the wing cap. It's got to be.
I would say the metal, because Metal Mario's in Mario Kart 8.
That is true. But I would still say, like, if you think Mario 64, you don't think of Metal Mario. You think of wing cap Mario. I think. Because he's on the box. If you really.
Yeah, he is.
So,
but gosh,
my favorite
wing
music
cap sucked.
Oh, go ahead and get into that. That's kind of where I wanted you to go.
I don't understand how you fly with the wing cap. Because you start gliding and you start falling.
Yeah, you're supposed to fall to be able to get more altitude.
Yeah. Well, I understand that. It's like,
and there's a limited time, too.
Come up. But then he automatically goes, "Waha!" and goes straight back down. I was like, What are you doing?
Yeah.
Are you trying to kill yourself?
So the thing that you were up, one of the times that he called me, he was griping because he was in the castle area where the red cap switch is, in that main foyer hallway where you look up to the ceiling and you get transported. It kind of reminds me of the Rainbow Ride.
A little bit, yeah.
Just that area. But so when you start out, you're in a cap, and
I see red coins.
And you see red coins. So Hammy's going for red coins, and he doesn't get the red coins, and he has to start the level over. And,
thankfully, you don't lose lives.
Right. So anyway, that happened several times, and Hammy finally called me, and he was so upset because he couldn't. He did not master flying. He couldn't get all the red coins to get out of the level. So I
was thinking that you had to get the red coins for some reason.
So I told him he had to press pause and just go exit left. He had to be on the ground.
No. You told me that I didn't have to get the coins to get the switch.
Right. That's what it was.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Because I looked down then and it's like, oh.
There's a switch on top of that castle in the middle of the map.
Well, Bowser can keep these stupid red coins. I just got out of there. I hate the flying so much.
And that's another thing. And we haven't touched on the game real much here on the podcast, but Super Mario Brothers, Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island for Super Nintendo had a feature where you had to find what they considered, I guess, like the red coins. There was either 8 or 10 in every level. That carried over, and that's been a staple through every one of these games.
I didn't really mind the red coins that much.
But see, the Dino coins, I guess, in a sense, were kind of the precursor to that even.
Yeah.
If you really think about it.
It's true.
So,
those ginormous
But
coins.
my point was, they put these red coins in, and they've been in it pretty much every Mario game since. I know they're in Mario Brothers Wii. and Odyssey.
I can't remember.
I thought there was something like that in Odyssey, but I could be wrong. I haven't played a whole lot of Odyssey.
Well,
but
just for future reference, you go back and play this game, you don't have to get all those stupid red coins
in that level
and that nightmare level. Save yourself some blood pressure.
Honestly, after you called me, I picked it back up because I didn't have all the coins in that level either.
I could get 7. I can get 7, no problem. It's just like that last pair, Mario's hand was just not quite on that red
just
coin.
1 pixel off.
Yeah. The swimming sucked too, by the way.
Yeah, the swimming did suck. I asked you how many times you died swimming, and you said that you had died a couple.
It's just hard to aim. This game, the movement seems to me a lot of it is either all or nothing. It's like you go flying forward 10 feet or you don't move.
Not tight enough, and it could be in the same setting, the same time, and then you get into some of the levels where you have something besides gravity pulling on you. Like, is that Jolly Roger Bay where you're underwater the entire time?
Yeah.
And they got that vortex in the middle, and it's slowly pulling you to the vortex. And there's that one level you got to get all the chests in the order, and the last chest is right beside that vortex.
Yeah.
And then as soon as you get it, and then as soon as you get it, the star comes way behind you, so you got to swim against the vortex to go get it.
Well, and Jolly Roger Bay too, when you get down there, there's a cave you can swim into.
Right.
On the way into that cave, you go through a circle of coins, and it makes an extra life pop out. I could never get it.
A lot of those extra lives, I just looked at them and said, "Yeah, not today."
Yeah, they weren't sitting still. I'm sorry.
One point I was going to touch on, you had the 3 different Bowser levels. You had the very first one, which was pretty easy. And then of course the second one, then the last one. How about on the first 2 Bowser level, the actual level? I died so many times going through those 2 levels, and then I get to the last one, flawless,
I smoked all 3 of them.
Near flawless run.
I used to run those for fun.
Really?
Yeah, because I liked the challenge when I was a kid. But the wing cap, the metal cap.
I used to try to find that music to download because I thought that was one of the best at the time. I'm young.
Oh, it still is.
It's still a great.
The soundtrack itself is amazing.
I thought it was. To me, I still think that Dire Dire Docks is probably one of the best songs on that entire soundtrack.
My favorite was
just Koopa, how calm it is.
Koopa Road, which is the first Bowser level.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It stuck with me all these years.
It had some great voiceovers too. Mario's never talked in any of these games.
What's his name? Charles Marinette. I can't. Something like that. He's the same guy that's voiced him since then.
I've seen the video where he's basically talking, "Hey, it's me, Mario."
Yeah.
Or Mario
and also Luigi.
Yeah. And Waluigi and Wario too, I think. I think so. So, anyway, Mario's never talked. So when you first cut on the game, Mario pops up, and they have this whole stretchy face Mario thing. Which how long was it before you realized he could freeze you could move his face and freeze it?
Oh, I never messed with it.
You never messed with it? Mm-mm. Never at all. Oh, wow. Okay.
I mean, I saw people do it, and I might have, pulled his nose once or twice, but then I was into the game.
Okay. I did just a little bit trying to, I guess, kind of get used to the controls, but do you know the reason why they did that?
Why?
It was just to show off the mechanics of the game, that this is all that it can do. It's not just a pixel here or a pixel there. That it had a ton of different animations for Mario, for his face, just his face and stuff had a ton of animations. Where in the past they weren't able to do all that. So literally it's, hey, what can we do to throw in here to show off the power of our system? Well, let's stretch Mario's face around.
But yeah, the metal cap was my favorite.
Yeah, I like the metal cap. I could see the need for the, they made it to where you had to need the, what do you call it? I guess the invisibility cap.
Oh, the vanish cap.
Vanish cap. But
I love that level where you get it though.
Where you slide down that,
because there are 2 easy 1-ups you can get.
How many times did you visit that just to get the 1-ups, Hammy?
Probably a couple of dozen.
Really?
Yeah. Until I found out that there were some easier ones to get on Tall Tall Mountain.
Yeah, there's some easy ones on Tall Mountain, and if you're still pretty good, I think it's the second Bowser level. When right before you go into Bowser, you have these seesaw boards, and where the seesaw boards are mounted, there's a bunch of 1-ups there, kind of on like, yeah, I'd have to show it.
Well, if you get all 120 stars and shoot up to the top with Yoshi, he gives you, I think, 99 lives.
He gives you 99 lives, yeah.
So it's like I could have used these a long time ago. Yoshi.
Yeah, I don't know why they didn't. That's one thing that I didn't understand about this game. Every other Mario's had some kind of like really, really big secret or some sort of like code or something. Warp zone. There was none of that. I guess the warp zones were taken away because you could pretty much go anywhere you wanted in any order.
Yeah. Well, again, this was new territory for them.
Exactly.
They probably just want to go back to basics for a few things.
We touched on it earlier. Bomb Battlefield. How iconic it was. I mean, it's
you get introduced to the war between the pink bombs and the black bombs.
We're going to take that snippet out, and I'm just going to use it randomly from here on out. But it's still got nothing on the 90s console wars. I'll tell you that much.
It's a good level. It's a really good introductory level.
It's a very good introductory level. It requires all the mechanics. Unfortunately, it does require the winged cap as well.
I like going back and stomping Koopa and getting his shell and riding around.
Yeah, that was a fun mechanic too.
I love that. I absolutely love that.
Because there's a couple of levels.
You can go over water with it?
Yes. Well, you had to in the Snowman Land. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Where you had to get on it and go over that death frozen pond. You can go in the water anywhere else in that level, except if you go where that ice water pond or whatever, it's instant death.
Well, that's like Shifting Sandland. It's got that instant death.
Yeah, but you can ride the shell in it.
Yeah.
And go over that all of that there. Let's see. There was Bomb Battlefield. There was
Thwomp's Fortress.
Another
one
Fortress.
I liked a lot.
It was another good one.
I used to get anxiety when I was a kid fighting the giant Thwomp.
I wouldn't get anxiety. I would get anxiety for the map because there's a lot of places you can fall off the map. And this was kind of the first game of this where you could just fall off the map.
Yeah, because Bomb Battlefield, there's no place you can fall in it.
No, I mean, you can fall off the top of the mountain and lose all your life, when you hit the bottom.
You don't fall into the bottomless abyss.
Right, and just fall out of the painting.
But no, when I was a kid, Thwomp, it used to I would get scared when he would get ready to
fall over.
And I'd have to move.
Right.
Now you just run under him because he does a little hop as he does it. You just run right under him.
I did not know that.
Yeah, just run right under him, side somersault, stomp, rinse, repeat.
There you go. I did know that if you landed on top of him where his bandage was, you got a coin. And then when you butt stomped him to kill him, you got 5.
Yeah. So
when you're looking for the 100 coins, that comes in handy.
The owl. Did you ever get the owl on that level?
Yeah, you had to.
Yeah, to get into the cage.
The cage up the top. And forgive me if we're wrong on all these, but I think 3 was
the
Dar Docks.
No, it was the first snow level. What was it called? Should probably look that up.
Probably should. But I know you're not a huge fan of snow levels, but this one wasn't all that bad.
No, it's pretty good. Yeah. Oh my gosh, that penguin race.
This is why we're going through all the levels.
That penguin race. That penguin knocked me off like 4 times. I got down to 0 lives. I was on my last life, and I finally beat him. Oh my gosh, I hated that slide.
Tell me the rest of the story that happened.
Oh. I guess I wasn't down to 0 lives then. So I beat him, and he gives you the star, but it's outside.
Right.
So I run outside, and I'm fed up with this whole thing. It's like, my gosh, it took forever to beat this guy. And I long jump at the star, miss it, go right off the world. So the next time I had to beat him again. Oh my gosh. That happened. There was another level.
I was going to say, there's a couple of times that will happen.
I missed the star or something would kill me before I got to the star because they spawned it somewhere far from me.
In Jolly Roger Bay, okay, there's a scene there, or a level there where there's 2 stars at the bottom of that main area. Well, the first one, you get the metal cap, you fall down in the middle into that vortex, you get the star, no big deal. Well, there's another one where you have to have the metal cap and the vanish cap together to sink down fast enough, and then to get through that cage where the other star is. I got stuck in the cage. I didn't get there.
Is that Dar Docks? Because I got them all on Jolly Roger Bay. I don't remember. I remember the one with the metal cap. I don't remember the one with the vanish cap.
No, it's Jolly Roger Bay because that's where the submarine was, right?
No, that was Dar Docks.
No, Dar Docks is where the ship was down below and the eel.
Jolly Roger Bay had the pirate ship because Jolly Roger is the pirate flag. Also, I can't search Mario 64 levels.
Because you don't have access to my...
Yeah, you won't give me access to your Wi-Fi.
I will. Every time I offer it, you don't do it. But anyway, so maybe you're right. I don't know. There you go. But yeah, I got stuck in between because it's like this little like rebar metal cage thing that this star is in. I got stuck in the rebar cage and I couldn't get out. I had to die. That was the only drowning death that I had.
Okay, so yeah. But Bomb Battlefield, Thwomp's Fortress, not Thwomp.
Thwomp is the one that falls down.
Yeah.
Although there are Thwomps in it.
There are 3D. You had to jump on top of one of them and get a red coin. Jolly Roger Bay was third. Cool Mountain.
Cool Mountain, that's it. Which that was fun. We kind of mentioned about getting the penguin where a lot of people just throw the penguin off just for fun.
There was a spot you could drop the penguin down and it would land
on and
it was a shortcut
right.
Ways.
And then, you have to be real careful about that too. One of the things that they introduced, and I think that might have been the first area that they kind of introduced it, was the teleport stuff, the teleport secrets.
No, there's one in Bomb Battlefield.
Was there?
Yeah, where the cannonballs are coming out.
Oh, that's well. Yeah, well, it teleports you somewhere. Well, I guess that's a teleport. Never mind. I'll shut up. Yeah. So, but yeah, that was a cool feature that they put in these games too. But next is what's 4?
Big Boo or 4 is Cool Mountain. You got Jolly Roger Bay.
Okay. Which
was I liked it. Okay. I hate that eel. I hate having to get to start the tail of that eel because the swimming's so terrible.
Right.
Big Boo's Haunt.
I kind of like getting the ship back up. That was always, it's frustrating because it's so slippery because it's on that angle and it's slippery.
Well, I had problems getting the eel to come out because you got to get him to come out. Then you swim into the ship, get that star. Then it comes up after that.
I just swam in front of him. He finally decided
he would not come after me.
Really?
Yeah. Then one time he came out and ate me or hit me and I died, I should say. Big Boo's Haunt. I like Big Boo's Haunt.
I liked it. I had a lot. I mean, because it's ghost houses. I mean, that's
but man, it does not look as cool as it did.
No,
in 96.
It doesn't. That piano still gets me too. I jump because
really?
you don't know when. You know it's going to do it. You just don't know when. It's like a can of biscuits. You start opening up a can of biscuits. You don't know like exactly when it's going to pop when you hit it or when you put the spoon in it, but you know it's going to, and it's like just really anxiety. It's like a Jack in the Box. That's what it is.
Buy my biscuits frozen, but anyway. It's kind of like the scary level in Banjo-Kazooie. Like when I was younger, I remember it being so amazing. When you go back, it's like,
didn't hold up so well.
Next, number 6, Hazy Maze Cave. Let me tell you, Clint, I hate snow levels.
Yes.
I hate lava levels.
Yes.
Desert levels, take them or leave them.
Sure.
But I abhor poison levels more than anything. I hate the poison mechanic in games.
So it's not really a poison pond, but there's a level called Poison Pond in Donkey Kong Country. But I guess it doesn't kill you. So
well, I hate the mechanic of there's a gas that's slowly killing you. Like swamp stuff.
Right.
Now sometimes
swamps and caves you're kind of okay with.
Yeah, I like swamps all right, swamp levels and stuff. But when it's like there's a poison, noxious gas that's choking you out.
Right.
No, sir. Man, no, thank you.
It's like mustard gas from World War
I. Yeah. But it did have the Loch Ness Monster, and that's kind of cool.
Yeah, that was neat. And again, that's where you find the metal cap switch for those of you who don't know to go to look at the internet. You're listening to this podcast to figure that out.
Or if it were you had to call me.
I didn't have to call you. I told you I was having trouble finding it because I couldn't remember exactly where it was. I knew the level it was in, but I couldn't remember exactly how to get there. And the thing was, I was just at the Loch Ness Monster for the first star because you have to get on its head and ride it around. Yeah. How about whenever I got that first star, somehow or another I jumped on top of its head. I forgot that you could butt pound its back and it would make its head go down. Somehow, no joke. I'd like triple jump.
You're like, I remember this being easier.
Yeah, exactly. Like, man, I don't remember this being this hard. But yeah, it wasn't until after I talked to you, it was like, you were like, yeah, just, stomp on it, make its head go down. I was like, Oh, yeah.
So I think there's a sign when you first go in. It's like, be careful, a monster will eat you.
Right.
And people speculated for years that you could be eaten by it. Like some kids would swear to me, yeah, if you just stop swimming in front of it, it'll bend over and eat you. It doesn't.
No, I've never experienced it. I've never heard that until you had said it the other day.
Next up, Lethal Lava Land.
As far as lava lands go, or things to do with lava, I don't mind it so much, and especially in a Mario game, because if you think about it, in the past, if you fall in the lava, you're instantly dead.
Yeah.
At least in this one, you get that weird mechanic where he's grabbing his butt and he's jumping, super high. I didn't mind it. It's hard to get the 100 coins in there. You almost have to get every coin to get the 100 coins in that one.
Yeah, I didn't try to get the 100 coins.
I don't. That might be the easiest 8 red coins to get because they're all on that little shifting puzzle.
Oh, yeah.
It's probably the easiest 8 red coins to
and
get.
No problem. If you fall in, just bounce over to solid ground and get another coin, get your health up. Which, by the way, I really like the whole mechanic of getting coins or jumping in water to get your health back.
Well, I was going to say, this is a lot of people. I feel like a lot of people were like, okay, if I'm losing health, I've got to find a coin to replenish my health. I found myself going to water.
Yeah.
Back in the day, and even now, like, okay, I'm low, like, and we'll get to it in a minute, but Wet Dry World, water up, water down. When the water's down, you get low, you go over, hit the switch, and just go underneath and then come back up. So. I didn't care so much for the inside of the volcano because again there was the platform thing.
Yeah, the elevator thing.
But it is what it is. You just kind of get used to it and you make it through. So
I absolutely hated the Lava World Odyssey, but in this one didn't mind. I got the 6 main stars in this one. Right. Not really a problem.
The wash and repeat. And you'll see it a little bit later too. The wash and repeat of there's a guy that's bigger than you. Let's throw him off of something.
Oh, God.
It's great in this game because you had the bomb in the first big bomb.
Yeah,
big bomb, whatever his name was. You had the big bully. Then I think it was another level. Big bully was back, and then there's the bully looking thing in the snowman land. So I mean that's. Hey, we need to make a star. We'll just put somebody giant in there and have him beat him.
I just put something you got punched 3 times. After that was Shifting Sandland. This is the first level where I didn't get all 6 stars because the red coins, you had to fly to get them.
Actually, I didn't get any stars in it. No, I take it back. I got 3. For the longest time, I didn't have any stars in it because it's funny too, because I talked to you and said, hey, that vulture that's got that star that's flying around, I got my cap, I can't hit it to get it. And you're like, yeah, I just ran around to the side and ran up the pillar.
I actually got it by accident.
Well, that's what I ended up doing. After I talked to you, I did the exact same thing. Went all the way around to that back left corner of the pyramid from where you started out, ran up it, and turned around. The guy flew right into me. I got the star. It's like
I didn't even know he was there. It's
right.
Like, I got a star? Okay. The part where you go inside the pyramid and you fight those hands. And that was a cool boss fight.
Yeah.
That made me think a lot of Bongo Bongo from Ocarina of Time, the Shadow Temple.
Okay.
Very similar fight.
Made me think of Andros.
Yeah, that's true. And another very similar fight in Wind Waker. But
well, see, the hands have always been very iconic with Zelda anyway, even from the very first one.
All of Nintendo, because even like the boss for the Smash Brothers series was hands.
Oh, really?
What's Nintendo got against hands?
I don't know. Hey, thankfully it's not feet.
Yeah, there you go. But that was a very unique fight, I thought, for this game. I think it's the only one of its kind.
I think it is.
I can't remember another one like it. I could be wrong, but I rarely am. Dire Dire Docks.
All right, that's the one that's completely underwater.
Can go straight to Hades. Hate that level, even though it's got really good music, and I do like the part where you fall in and you got the shark and the manta ray and stuff.
I think I hit that shark and it took life away from me.
Probably.
Yeah, I don't think it did with the manta ray, but I might be wrong in that. I don't know if I hit
you
it.
could swim behind the manta ray and get air or something, couldn't you?
That I don't know.
It made little rings.
No. The rings are coming up from the bottom. You have to swim through the rings to get the star. That was that's the first star I got.
Okay. Level. I got on a submarine, the star I got.
I take it back. That was not the first star. That was the first star I got.
But yeah, I didn't care for Dire Docks. Jolly Roger Bay was okay. I kind of like the pirate ship, but this one,
yeah,
it made me think of the crap. I think it was, I can't remember if it was the last level or next to last for Banjo Kazooie with the big oil tanker.
Yeah,
made me think of that for some reason. A lot of similarities now that I think about it.
Yeah,
holy cow.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was the blueprint.
Yeah, I mean, desert world, snow world, big
lava world,
big ship in the middle world. Then next was Snowman's Land. Snowman's, I love getting to it because you have to go in that room with the mirror.
Yes,
which is the only time you see Lakitu.
Right.
Outside of a cutscene.
You hate the level.
Oh, I wouldn't say I hate it.
Qualities.
I just didn't go back to it.
Yeah.
After I did that thing, because I'm not a big fan of snow worlds, but let me tell this: Jeff and I, back in our college days, would eat at this Chinese place in Anniston, House of Chin. It was amazing. And when you went in there and went to sit down, like in the dining room, like one side of one wall of the dining room was just one big mirror. And really? It always made us think of that.
I gotcha.
It's like we'll look and see like a painting that's not there. Go jump in it.
Funny story. I was probably about 10 or 11 in Western Sizzlin. They had just remodeled and put all their mirrors up beside the buffet bar. I literally walked into a mirror thinking there was more food where I was walking. I didn't see myself walking to me. I was just like looking at the food and I walked straight into the mirror.
I respect that.
Thank you. The fact that I told that story here and everybody can hear it now.
Well, if I was in a buffet and I saw a whole other room with more buffet, oh man, my eyes would light up like Christmas.
They did. That's why I didn't see that fat kid walking right for me.
Yeah, no. I assume everyone's gonna get out of my way.
I didn't, and you talking about that level reminded me too of, I love the way they put, I love the concept behind, hey, here's this castle, here's all these paintings, Bowser's made these worlds inside these paintings, but I also love that there are smaller levels within the levels.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is in this one, there's like an igloo that you have to go into and it opens up another room. You're gonna get the one here in a minute with
the volcano.
With the volcano was different.
The pyramid.
The pyramid was different. And tiny giant world or whatever, little big world, whatever it's called. I think that's actually copyright. I shouldn't have said that. It's actually a little big planet, but still, the fact that you could go in one and it's giant world and go to the other one, you're the giant. I thought that was
a lot of really unique things.
Right.
But I forgot what to say about Snowman's Land.
Snowman's Land. The shell, that was the one where you had to ride the shell.
The paintings. Think about Super Nintendo World. It's open up. They got those paintings.
Yeah, everybody was making fun of it.
It's going to be an American who tries to jump in one first.
Absolutely. All
right. Next was Wet Dry World, which another cool mechanic was the water level would start out
where you jumped in the painting.
Right, jump low. It was at the bottom. I showed that to my nephew. He thought that was cool.
That's cool, and they kind of redid that mechanic later in another level too.
And it was a lot of, you get those little rainbow little prisms, and it raises the water, lowers the water. Something about this level I was always fascinated with when I was a kid was the downtown area. Did you ever go there?
Yeah, I ended up getting all the stars there. The star that I struggled with was that stupid elevator star. I went everywhere, everywhere, all over that level, trying to figure out how to make that thing go down because I knew there was no way to. I can't tell you how impressed with myself I was because I got inside and I jumped back and I timed it all perfect. I got to the top and I hit the top. And I'm thinking, okay, there's a hole up there. I get up there, hit the top, and fall all the way down and kill myself. It's like instant. If you fall from that kind of height, it's like instant death. So I went all over this map and then finally got on the back side where that wooden platform, that little small wooden platform, and it just goes down.
Did you get the stars in order? When you get on that certain star, the title of the star gives you a clue about how to get it. That was Express Elevator, like hurry up.
Yeah. Yeah, and that was another thing that's kind of went forward with all the other games. Like in Mario Odyssey, granted there's 120 stars per level in some of those. I mean, there's a lot of stars in a lot of those levels.
The moons, yeah.
Moons, whatever. Same thing.
Collectibles. which has become a staple for 3D platformer.
But yeah, you're right. They would tell you how, kind of, okay, it's kind of in this area. It kind of has to do with this.
Yeah.
So I kind of knew it had to do with an elevator, but again, that's a little later in the game probably than I got to, or that I remember. It's just one of those things you just kind of forgot about.
Yeah. Oh yeah, a lot of times in this game. But the downtown area, I just thought was cool because it's got like the little.
I completely forgot
the little park with like the trees and like the grass and the church and stuff.
It took me forever to get through that.
By the way, did you get all the stars on Big Boo's Haunt?
No.
I knew that
I didn't get the first one.
You couldn't get to the balcony.
I couldn't. I didn't get the first one.
So I feel a little ashamed. I had to get Justin to look that up for me. I was like, I don't feel like sitting here trying to figure it out. And you go in this one room.
Well, I don't feel so bad because I was trying my best not to look up any of them.
You have to go in this room and wall jump and it go up. Like you can't see it unless you do that or manipulate the camera up to this ledge and go out there to the balcony.
Courtyard area. And I just happened to get it. I ran toward the wall and jumped up and wall kicked over. And there's like this rebar pad that gets you to the second level. Well, in that rebar pad, there's little holes that make you fall back down. And that's how I got to the second level. I just happened to jump up there. And I happened to hit that one square in that one area just right. Spot. Exactly.
Well, there's a second star up there too. You have to get the vanish cap in a different room, run into the room, wall jump up to the ledge, haul it across that room beyond the ledge and jump behind a painting that you can only get behind with a vanish cap. And then you got to run around an eyeball, make it disappear to get the star.
Okay. I don't think I got that one.
It's funny because after I beat Boo, and I saw the painting when I first got up there and it dawned on me. It's like, I'm an idiot. I've done this a million times.
Right.
Why did I forget all this?
Well, you got to store it with other video game knowledge. So
Tall Mountain. I like Tall Mountain a lot.
I liked it. It's another one of those. If you
I got all the stars
fall the wrong way, you're
actually it's a lot more forgiving because a lot of the spots where you're at, there's ground below you, except those mushrooms.
Well, I was gonna say it's the mushrooms. The mushrooms is the one I distinctively remember falling because of the depth perception it would get me on the mushrooms.
So you know that when you start out and you see that one mushroom way out there with the star on it?
Yeah.
I found the pink bomb, open the cannon, which you got to fall down this ledge and get to the cannon.
I hadn't got that star, but I know it.
First try.
Really?
Hit it. I hit it in midair. Didn't even land on the mushroom. Nothing but star.
I remember.
I hate those stupid monkeys, though.
I remember Cool Mountain, where that I guess it is an elevator, would go up from the bottom floor to the top one. It's that little wire chairlift elevator. Well, you had to talk to that bomb and you jump back over and you could shoot across. So I'm thinking, okay, I've got to get over there because I was looking for the 8 red coins. Man, I went everywhere over there. And I can't tell you the number of times that I overshot because the only thing you can hit over there is a tree. Mm-hmm. I can't tell you the number of times I overshot that tree. Like, I understand.
I bet you were missing the one behind that glass pillar, weren't you?
I was.
That's the one I kept forgetting to.
Like, I understand the physics that, the drop like a bullet really will do or like a cannon really will do. So I understand that. So you got to aim a little higher or whatever, but I don't know. It was the same every time, but there was also times when it just worked or it didn't work.
My problem with that is when I went up the lift and I backflipped over to talk to the pink bomb.
Yeah.
And I kept hitting A, and instead of talking to him, Mario jumped in a tree. And when I got out, he was on the other side of the tree in a fence. So the only way to get back over to him on the island was to jump over, and I kept jumping in the tree. And I did it long enough. I saw the chairlift come back down. I was so mad. So I finally talked to him, and then I tried to long jump back to the low area,
right?
And didn't make
it. Well, see,
thankfully it saved that I talked to him.
Yeah, that's a good thing too. Is that the area where you can jump and it'll make you fly?
Yeah, I found that out, but
I found that out.
I got out of it quickly. Apparently.
But I also found out that if you are on the other platform, not the little island that the pink bomb's on, if you're on the upper side, and you try to long jump, I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna long jump and the wind's gonna catch me and it's gonna float me over. Nope, sure won't. You'll hear the wind and your controller will start rattling a little bit, but that's about all it'll do.
The cannon. The reason it's there is to get you to that spot you're talking about, but that's where you get a star called wall kicks will work.
Yeah.
There's an easier way to do that. if you go up to where the snowman head is, there's one of those things you can jump on and makes you spin. Mm-hmm. You can spin down the side and back into it.
Yeah, I remember doing that back in the day.
The next after Tall Tall Mountain was Tiny Huge Island.
Another good concept. I think they kind of did that in Yoshi's Island, but I know they did that in Mario World 3, or Super Mario Brothers 3. Yeah. So kind of a throwback, but I thought it was like we mentioned earlier. You got that whole depth perception thing.
Mm-hmm. I jumped over a lot of islands.
Well, no, I'm talking about when you're running down the hallway just to get into the painting. You're like, okay, this is a normal size painting. You go down this long hallway, and this painting is like bigger than the screen can even show. But then it took me forever to realize there was another side to that. Like I just happened to look, and it's like, okay, well, it's just another way in. I got in, and again, it looks like it's a long hallway, but then it turns out it's really short, and the painting's like really small. You just jump in it. So it was pretty neat.
They had some really cool ideas.
Well, going back to Tall Tall Mountain, that was the one where the painting was the only one that was super small.
Yeah.
Everything else was like a regular size painting.
Every time I would die, which it was funny, I was just because I could get several extra lives, and I keep losing them. But I would die, and I'd try to jump back in. I'd hit the wall, just getting angrier. My rage was just growing. Because that's the one I got all the red coins, and it puts the star on a mushroom. I tried to long jump to it, and the wind caught me and threw me off course.
Oh man, because I did that too. I just jumped off. Like I got to the edge and I saw it, and it was like just leap of faith that
one time
straight up Assassin's Creed jumped off of it and happened to hit the mushroom and got the star.
Oh wow, I didn't try that. One time I tried to jump over the moles, and he threw a rock at the right time and knocked me off.
Yeah, some of the hits on that was just like, really?
A lot of knockback.
How did you hit me when I'm going as fast as I can in an arc trajectory and you still hit me?
Tom Brady mole.
Good luck, Patriots. Good luck, Buccaneers, by the way.
Yeah, it's your favorite team.
It used to be. I don't have a favorite NFL team anymore. So I love that team back in the day, though.
After Tiny Huge Island.
Yep.
TikTok clock.
Hammy hates this one because it's purely platforming. It is platforming at its best / worst. Now, before we get in there, this is the other one where the position of the paint, well, not the position where you jump in the painting, but something about the painting will affect.
Yeah, it's where the hour hand.
Right. So if the hour hand is straight up, it's still. And the more it increases from 12 back all the way around, it gets faster. Is that right?
I think so. I didn't remember it till I'd already gotten my star because I told my nephew
I need one so I can go beat Bowser and then I'm done.
So because he saw me struggling with that level, I died, got a game over, came back in.
Well, and it's funny
because he went out for something and came back, and I had 2 more stars because I'd gone in, got one, and talked to Toad right next to the level and got one. What I miss?
I remember trying to find 120 stars, and I had not talked because I kind of knew where all of them were, and I had not talked to Toad, and I was short like 6 stars.
My last 5 stars when I got 120 when I was a kid were all on TikTok clock.
Really? Mm-hmm. So all the way back to there.
Yep, I've always hated that level.
Okay, that's cool.
Rainbow Ride was stage 15,
and this is the last stage.
I like Rainbow Ride.
I didn't mind it. Again, it was one of those, you're on a moving platform and you have the platform on the platform.
By the way, if you stay off that rug long enough, it despawns.
Yeah.
Found out the hard way too, didn't you?
Yeah.
But I liked it. I only got 1 star on it this time through
because I got 2 on it.
And the first one I got, or the only one I got, was the red coins. Because they're all kind of close together.
Right. Yeah. I think that's one of the ones I got too.
But there's a very nerve-wracking part to that where you have to, you got a wall on one side, open space to death on the other side.
Yep.
On those hearts you can run through.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to get up high and wall jump off that towards a wall you can't see.
Right.
And keep jumping back up and back and forth to the top of it.
See, this is one of those games that I kind of like, but at the same time, I kind of don't because it's one of those mechanics that's hard. We kind of talked about this in Super Metroid. It's a mechanic you have to have.
Yeah.
The wall jumps. But with Super Metroid, you don't get the space jump until late. So you don't really have the whole game to learn it.
Right.
You only have the last little bit to learn the timing of it. Well, I kind of like the wall kicks because, you can get some areas maybe you're not supposed to. You find some shortcuts or whatever. But when it gets to a point where I have to be able to do it,
mm-hmm.
I don't like that. Like that's the only way you can do it. And not only is it like one, it's not just one or two, it's tons of wall kicks to get up.
It's a lot. And also the fact that you might think the camera is like one way and it's actually maybe a little another way.
Yep.
So you're actually easing out towards the edge of the wall the whole time. You don't realize it.
You jump off.
Yep.
Again, camera angles.
All about the mangles. But then the Bowser levels, I liked all of them.
Yeah, they were challenging. Maybe the first two weren't quite challenging enough. Maybe they needed to have 3 hits as well.
Don't give them any ideas.
Do what?
Don't give them any ideas.
I'm pretty sure.
I'm talking about the levels building up to it.
Oh yeah. I mean, it was just difficult enough. It was just enough platforming. I thought they did a good job of putting some new stuff in, like those seesaws.
Yeah,
they were kind of monotonous because like, okay, I'm gonna stand on this side of the seesaw, just make it go up. Well, if you stand too long, you can't get out of it. You just slide off.
Yeah. Then the floors that you could run straight up.
Yeah, those were neat because
you could stop too.
You can stop. Yeah, well, some of them you can still fall back.
The ones that look like Lego tops, you could run and stop and stand there.
Why Lego tops? I've always wondered that. Like, how is that? I mean, what do they call them? Mega block tops?
Maybe they were giving us early foreshadowing of the Nintendo Lego.
Well, maybe. Possibly.
Collaboration.
Stop.
No, probably
collaborate in. Let's see.
Ice is back with a brand new invention.
Something. Grab a hold tightly.
Go Ninja. Go. Oh, wait, that's not it.
Oh, why would we not watch those as part of the podcast? I vote that we do that. Was 2 better than 1?
What are you talking about?
No, Ninja Turtles.
Oh. You might not like me after I say this. 3 was my favorite.
I can take it or leave it.
I don't know why.
Because it's Michelangelo based.
You mean Leonardo?
No, it's Michelangelo based.
Felt Leonardo because he got to beat the bad guy.
No, it's Michelangelo because he was the one that had the. I don't think Leonardo didn't get one until TMNT, the animated one. The first one was Raphael because he left the team, this, that, and other, blah, blah, blah.
He always leaves the team. What a hothead.
The second one was Donatello. And the third one was Mikey because, he at the end of the movie, he had decided he was going to stay in feudal Japan.
Well, it's like that because Leonardo fought the main bad guy and chopped the little thing off.
All right, I'm going to do this. There, isn't that better? Now, the third one's more about Leonardo, or the fourth one was more about Leonardo from that standpoint because that's where he kind of learned how to be a leader or whatever. But
took him 4 movies. Anyway, back to Super Mario 64.
Yeah, we got a big time paper trail there.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's 2 better than 1.
Turtle Trail. Man, I really haven't watched them in so long.
Really?
3's only one I actually stop and watch.
We talked about it where 1 has a fantastic story. If you put that
based right off the comics,
right? If you put that anywhere else and take the turtle side out of it, it's just a father with his 4 adopted sons. It probably wins a Grammy or something.
Although in the comics,
it's not Grammys.
In the comics, it wasn't Splinter that faced off with Shredder at the end. It was Leonardo. And Leonardo killed Shredder, cut his head off.
But he came back as Super Headless Shredder.
Kevin Nash. I think he cut his head off.
I always liked the second one better, but I watched the first one.
Maybe he fell off the building
more recently, and I thought the first one, I thought the storyline was better, but I thought the movie was better in the second one.
All right, well let's follow the Technodrome trail right back to Super Mario 64.
I love you.
So a few things that I wish that they had, and when I was a kid, I wished it had 2-player.
Yeah,
had the Luigi. I wish that they had like the fire flower.
Yeah, I wish they would have had a power up you could have kept that wouldn't like just vanish after a little. But maybe that makes it because in the old games you would get hit. See, I'm kind of wishy-washy on that because in the old games you would get hit and you would just lose that power up. Right. But if you got hit again, you would die. Once you got little, you would die. Well, they took the big little thing out in this one and they made it where, we give you the cap for a temporary power up.
Right.
And we're going to give you a power meter. It's the first time they ever had the power meter. it's almost the equivalent of Sonic losing his rings. As long as he has one ring, he's fine.
Yeah, the life meter, okay,
right.
What I was thinking
power bar.
Yeah, power meter. I was like, what?
Well, his life meter.
See that?
So I mean, I guess if you made it like the older games where if you get hit, you lose that, and that's your hit point, maybe. I can see both sides of the argument. I kind of do wish they had something. I wish they would have brought something into it, like maybe even a star power instead of the metal hat. But the metal hat's pretty freaking cool.
It is. Music alone is worth it.
Favorite song out of the whole soundtrack?
Cooper Road. The first about the level building up to Bowser. And again, I don't know why that just really stuck with me.
3 things that absolutely have made me mad about this game, outside of the few things that you and I talked about. The 3 things that really got me. The first Golden Rabbit.
I never had trouble with it.
The second battle or the second race with Koopa. And the second Golden Rabbit. I can't catch that stupid thing. Yes.
Where's it at?
After you get so far in the game, you come back out. That Gold Rabbit's back. You got to catch him a second time, and he's faster.
Oh, I saw him. I just didn't think I had to catch him again.
No, you got to catch him again.
Okay.
I might have to get you to catch him again for me.
All right. I know it sounds like I kind of dissed this game quite a bit, and I know when I was playing it, I hated it.
Right.
But
you keep coming back to it, though.
It's you got to recognize it for what it is. It's iconic. It's legendary. It's a base.
It's a trendsetter.
It is. It absolutely set the trend, and Nintendo's so good at that, setting trends, not following them.
Well, I mean, think about how many things that set. I mean, obviously you've got your platforming / action adventure from a Nintendo side that everything has followed that. You and I even said Banjo-Kazooie is by far the better game if you compare 64 to Banjo-Kazooie.
But there would be no Banjo-Kazooie.
But there's no Banjo-Kazooie without Mario 64.
That's like saying there would be no Halo without GoldenEye.
Right.
And that's absolutely true.
Right. And there'd probably be no GoldenEye without Doom.
And there'd be no Doom without Chex Quest.
I don't have another one to one-up you on, so I'm going to
Chex
stop
Quest
there.
came out later. Great game, though. Free in a box of cereal.
Is it a box of checks?
It is.
If they could have redone the game, maybe a HD remaster, and maybe fix some of the fix some things, what would you have wanted fixed? Obviously, the camera angle.
Yeah, but more fluid camera. Maybe remap a few controls. I mean, they don't have the C buttons.
Right.
They've got X and Y again. Let's do something with those. I would have liked to seen some upgraded with textures and stuff.
Sure, I mean graphically, of course.
And when they first announced, I think everyone thought, "Oh, remaster,"
it's a remaster, right.
But it definitely wasn't.
It's just a port.
People still speculate they may still do it.
It's possible. Flying controls, swimming controls, some of that kind of stuff.
Yes, overhaul. Take out those stupid balls that shoot fire at you. Oh my gosh.
The random play. Okay. In a wet, dry world, why are they in wet, dry world?
I don't know, but that's where they would get me.
Really? When you're trying to climb up a platform?
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I can't tell you the number of times I died from that little springy thing in wet, dry world.
Oh yeah. Throw you?
Yeah. Cause like one would throw me and it would get me up where I wanted to be, but you would never land on your feet.
Yeah.
So, and it just so happened a lot of times when it threw me up, it threw me basically on top of another one. So I'd come up and I'd hit, and I'd land, I'd lose 2 life points. And then the next one would throw me. And then the next thing I know, that stupid bomb at the top would grab me up, throw me back off. So then I lose points there.
They're just playing monkey in the middle with you.
For real.
Now, yeah, sometimes Mario's recovery made me mad. It's like, my gosh, get up. Get up.
Yeah. Yeah, but again, we can see it for what it is.
Yeah.
Not a bad game for only using 40% of the power of the 64.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and you look at it and think, man, it was the first of its kind. And it still holds. It's still, fun to play if you remember that, hit R and go to the Mario camera, swap back and forth. But my gosh, I hated the game while I was playing it.
Well,
without remembering the camera.
The other 2 games on this that we played on are Super Mario Sunshine and Mario Galaxy. I never played Mario Galaxy, and I've dabbled at Sunshine.
I'm the same.
I'm gonna give them the old college try and give them a shot just because I've never played them and it's a Mario game. One of the things that I've heard is I think it's an inverted left and right on Sunshine. I don't know if they made it to where you can edit that or maneuver that around or not. So we'll see. I'll let you know.
They probably did.
Yeah. Well, that was the biggest complaint because for whatever reason they inverted it, because instead of you push right to look right, you push left to look left. It's, if you had a stick on Mario's head, you'd move it to the right to make his head turn left. Why's Mario got a stick on his head? Come on now. I don't know. Anything else on Mario 64?
I think that about covers it.
Okay. There was something else that you and I were going to talk about, but the thing I want to talk about
is,
pause for dramatic effect. They have announced officially that they're going to bring back the college football game.
Oh yeah.
I almost said NCAA. It's not NCAA football because I think there's a ongoing lawsuit between the NCAA and EA Sports, but I think EA is trying to make a workaround for their likeness.
Sounds like it. You know what makes me think of? The old WCW games. Like was it WCW versus the World?
Right.
Where they had all these generic wrestlers that were actually like New Japan wrestlers.
Right.
Makes me think of that.
A little bit. I think that it's really funny though. Obviously the season's ended. This game has got a cult following. I'm one of the members, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Recently, I don't know necessarily if PlayStation and Xbox opened up for mods for their PS3 and their Xbox 360 respectively, but people have been modding them, and through modding of your system.
Yeah, that's not the companies opening them up. That's people jailbreaking them.
Well, through the modding of the system, they have modded NCAA 14 and called it NCAA Football Revamped. It's got all the new uniforms. It's got all the new stadiums. It doesn't have a playoff, but the national championship game has the playoff logo on the field.
Oh, wow. That is quite the cult.
Yeah. They've updated the graphics within the box that they're dealt. So like when you look at the plays and stuff, it looks different. I haven't done it. I'm not going to jailbreak my Xbox 360. I would like to. I've actually considered buying one to do that with, but now that they're making another one, that'll be out at the earliest 2022, maybe 2023 is probably more likely the time frame. But now that another one's coming out, I'll wait. But
I'm glad.
I just hope that they listen to the fans and give them all they can do, because a lot of people want a whole lot of customizable stuff, but they don't want Madden. They don't want a Madden. And I cannot blame them.
Well, EA, they're known for listening to their fans.
Well, and yeah, exactly. And then
sarcasm.
Do away with the loot boxes. They don't need loot boxes. I'm not worried about Ultimate Team. I want to take Alabama. I want to take South Alabama. I want to take UAB. I want to take Army. I want to take these teams.
Jacksonville State.
If they have D2, sure.
Troy.
They're D1, but sure. I want to take these teams, build a dynasty and enjoy it for the next 8 years, like I have this past game. So I'm looking forward to it coming out.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I'm not a sports game fan myself, but I'm glad that they're bringing it back, because I know, like you said, you especially, but a lot of people are ready for it to come back.
Well, it's not direct competition for Madden, because Madden used to have the 2K games, 2K5, 2K4. But when they lost the licensing rights with the NFL Players Association, it became a one-horse town. So it's almost like WWE bought out its competition, and now WWE kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Now you got AEW. Well,
Madden sucks.
Madden sucks because there's nothing going against it. Well, now, in a way, they've kind of created their own competition again. It's like, oh, well, they had this feature in NCAA, but it's not in Madden. So maybe they'll listen to their fans and make it like it's supposed to be. And
maybe they'll do something with wrestling games and make the WWE games good again. Funny thing, talk about Madden. My latest two retro game purchases have been both for Sega Genesis. One was Tommy Lasorda Baseball.
Nice.
The other was John Madden Football 92.
92. For Sega.
For Sega Genesis.
I've got 96 there.
I've got 94 for Super Nintendo, but this is 92. This is the one where the amulets would come out.
This is the first one, isn't it?
I believe so. It's the one where if you had a player that got injured,
A whole ambulance would come out
and it would
stretcher and everything.
It'd run over all the other players.
Hey, let's make this super realistic. Let's bring the ambulance out.
Yeah, I've got the first NCAA game.
The Bill Walsh?
No, it's just called NCAA football.
Okay.
Alabama's not in the roster.
What was the one that had you can make the high school teams?
Oh,
Super Play Action Football.
I got that.
Yeah, I remember that one.
You could play, wasn't it, college, pro, and you could make high
play
school?
all three of them because we rented it from Blockbuster, and there was a school called Moss. Remember that?
I do.
There was a school called Moss, and we just sit there and made fun of the name Moss. Like we never played with it. We just made fun of who names a school Moss. So
I think that's where I started not liking football games because my dad, who never plays games, played that with me in the first game. He beat me bad. Well, I'm done with sports games.
In those days, the AI for these sports games was so bad. Field goal block. That's all you had to do. Field goal block.
It's true.
So
Super Play Action Football. We got to break that out.
Kind of like Super Techno Bowl. A lot of good games.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of good games. Well, I guess that's going to do it. Wasn't there something else we want to talk about? I can't think of it right now.
Yeah, we were, but I said we'll wait since it's so far out.
No, not that. There was something else. We wanted to mention on the podcast.
I don't.
Keep talking. Let me go through our text message because I think we might have texted each other.
Okay. So, Super Mario.
Oh, Hammy called me a bully, and I thought he was calling me a bully.
No, I wasn't calling you a bully. I was saying bully, like the way Teddy Roosevelt used to say.
Yeah, but
which also means superb or wonderful. Bully.
Bully.
You said you thought I might have been talking about the Bully series, which I didn't like.
Tapping out at 54 stars. Got at least one on every level. This game did not age well. LOL.
I was so mad. Don't read those. I was in a bad place when I wrote that text.
Yesterday, 10:41 p.m. 70 stars beat the game. My BP is skyrocketing though.
Did you ever play the DS version of
I did not. I never had a DS.
Because you could get Luigi, Yoshi, or Wario.
Right. It wasn't until after I beat the game that I remember to hit the right bumper and C down right stick to keep the camera behind Mario. Makes the game so much easier. Felt like an idiot.
Yeah. I did, man, because I beat the game. I was looking at the cake at the very end of the credits.
Yeah.
And I was waiting on it. I was like, I can't remember if I'm supposed to
push something or what. Yeah.
So I hit select and it brings up the menu, the new menu. And I went down to controls and I saw camera mode. I was like, wait a minute. And I went back into the game. That's when I discovered it.
Yeah, it's not in these text messages. Okay. We got another game coming up. We will not preview that here.
So we're still not.
Just in case.
100%.
Well, just in case time constraints.
You want to talk about my Duke controller?
Throw it out there.
Yeah, I got the wireless Duke controller from Hyperkin for Xbox
party?
One. It is, but it's officially licensed by Xbox. Like they still, I guess, gave it a going over and said it's fine. But it's just like the old Duke for the original Xbox, that big, massive,
the OG Xbox
hubcap looking thing, which I kind of like.
And also,
now my hands are bigger than they were back then.
That's true. When you have little bitty, teeny tiny kid hands.
You know, Shaq's favorite controller,
the Duke.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
I don't know. Just made that up.
We'll go with it. We'll tweet Shaq. Maybe he'll respond to us.
Might be Treat's favorite. No, the man hands and all.
We got to have Treat on again. Hammy has given me an ultimatum. Today, as of recording, is February the 3rd. I have till the end of the month to finish Twilight Princess.
Because I want my Wii U back.
And we do a review. There was something else that came out for Wii U that was really good that maybe you have it in that backpack here.
Well, we're reviewing it because it came out on GameCube.
Right.
Because Wii U was 7.
Hey.
I don't know. Nintendo got weird with their generations.
Yeah.
But yeah, I lent you the Wii U and I was like, okay, he'll beat it in a couple of months and I'll get it back.
It's been over a year.
Yeah, well over a year. I want to play some Xenoblade Chronicles X.
Well, I'm going to get it back to you when I beat it. But before I give it back to you, as long as it's not still sealed up in the case, I think I kind of want to try Star Fox for a minute.
Star Fox.
Zero's in there, right?
Yeah. It was Zero. Assault was for GameCube. Assault was good.
There was another one that I think is in there that I want to kind of try.
Oh yeah, it was a different kind of game, I think.
Does the virtual store on Wii U still work? Like, can you still get all the games that you used to, or has they closed it all down?
I don't know.
Somebody tweeted out a photo of the Wii U virtual store that just basically had at least every first party Nintendo game, regardless of system.
Oh, it was great.
And it had every one of them. And the caption was like, "Hey, we're looking at you, Switch. Why can't you do this? You're the most popular game system."
Well, the only thing about the virtual console is you bought it on Wii U, then you had bought it on Wii. You had to buy it again on Wii U, buy it again on 3DS. And it was rough for indie games because they were competing against Super Mario World.
Yeah, they're not
and the classics. They're not going to win. So that's why, at least from my understanding, what I've been told, that's why Switch swapped to the online thing. Also, I'm hoping that with the online, that when they come out with the next console beyond Switch, it'll be like Game Pass. It's just you just carry your online membership,
right?
And you've still got all these games instead of you bought them on the virtual console for $10 a piece. Well, guess what? You got to buy it again.
Yeah. Well, and that's one of the good things, like moving from not so much from the 360 to the Xbox One, but moving directly from the Xbox One to the Xbox Series X. I literally just unplugged my hard drive and plugged it up, and all the games still work.
Yeah, that was great. That was a really smart move on their part.
Eventually they made most everything backwards compatible with the 360. So a lot of those games that are, the digital style will transfer over. Therefore, they're on the Series X as well. But
I love that the peripherals can carry over too. Your Xbox One controller work for the Series X.
Will it?
Yeah.
So I've been playing 2-person Tetris this entire time because I've only got 2 Series X controllers, but I can take that blue controller and put it in there it will work. I'm going to go try that right now.
As much Tetris as you want. Just have my Wii U back to me at March.
March 1, or I'm going to break your kneecaps. Well, I guess that wraps it up for Super Mario Brothers 64.
Yeah, or Super Mario 64. Yeah, no brothers.
No brothers.
No.
Sad.
Poor Luigi.
We touched on that, right? That they found the code.
Green Luigi. Yeah.
We didn't touch on the thing at the statue where everybody kind of thought that it said.
I don't remember what they thought.
L is missing. L is here.
Yeah, some numbers.
And then 2021 or 2020, and they found in the code in 2020.
Yeah, it was almost like it was a weird conspiracy theory
that came true.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, but yeah, his code's in there.
Yeah, I've seen a video where they broke down the game and like what the screens look like when they. Basically, the screen, like when Mario's head's there, it's basically like a box. Well, they were able to pull away from that view and look outside the box and see everything else that's around, all the way everything's structured. It was pretty neat. It's a very good video. So
yeah.
Before we leave out, you gonna try to get 120? Just say you did it one more time, or are you done?
Oh, I'm done.
I'm gonna try. I think I'm gonna try.
I'm moving on to the next game.
Okay, whatever that may be.
Yeah, I'm like you. I want to try. I've played Sunshine before. I do want to try Galaxy. I never played it.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess that does it for us. We've been going for well over an hour, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Thanks for listening to us. Me and you made a conscious decision to click a link to hear us. We appreciate you spending your time with us.
Hour and 32 minutes. This is the longest podcast we've done.
Yeah.
It's the longest one we've done in a long time, not watching a movie. And if you've made it this long and you want to hear another movie review or another watch along, let us know. We're game. We're game. We want to do what you guys want to hear. So, anywho, as long as it's, I guess, retro or nostalgic. I don't know where the cutoff on all that is.
Yeah.
I mean, we just did Mandalorian.
We'll make it up as we go along.
There we go. That's what we're best at. Thanks for tuning in, guys.
Most of the minute.